When the home is in danger and the cops seem far away, the destiny of all might just depend on our trusted dogs. It will amaze you how some of these dogs come through in the most shocking ways, taking both robbers and intruders by surprise. Wondering what this is all about? Join us on this roller coaster journey as we explore a list of 30 robbers who had a bad time with dogs. Number 30. A child rescued. The footage you're about to see stands as one of the most thrilling stories of guard dogs coming to the rescue. In it, a group of children seem to be playing and having a picnic with no adult in view. Unknown to them, a kidnapper was lurking in the background, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. That moment soon came when the toddler in the group got up to go play. At this point, the kidnapper can be seen going straight for the target. But before he can touch him, the canine hero in the area steps in, launching an attack on the kidnapper, which he will never forget. Thankfully, the child was saved, and we are left with an assurance that if the kidnapper escapes with the canine bites, he might have to rethink his job choice. Number 29. Robbery stopper. It seems easy to get people to do things and perpetrate a robbery by pulling out a gun. That is, until you encounter an agent who isn't scared of guns. Here, we see an armed robber in such a dire encounter when he tries to rob a shopkeeper at the counter and take away all his money. All seemed to be going according to plan until that moment when he pulled out a gun over the counter. This was the time for a hidden guard dog to strike, biting off the hand of the robber and the gun out of his hand. The event was certainly something the robber didn't expect, and if care isn't taken, he might be losing an arm as a result. Number 28. Dog defense. Here, another burglar was recently met with shock when he broke into a house, thinking he was about to have a good time harassing the female house owner. But he thought wrong. Right when he least expected it, a pit bull defender soon charged toward him, causing him to rethink his decisions, which led him to enter the house in the first place. While he continued in his numerous attempts to get out of the house in one piece, seeking immediate medical attention was a certainty he wouldn't be able to evade. Number 27. A burglar mistake. In Oklahoma, the scene of an audacious robber was captured by the CCTV camera. Here, the burglar, priding on his expertise, quietly lets himself into the house. On getting into the house, he was shocked to find the 122-pound weighted Great Dane waiting inside. However, not giving up, he tries to make friends with the dog by petting it and playing all the little tricks like an old friend. Here, the dog named Dubai seemed to be catching on to the vibe and feeling the new friendships. So it played along until the mom inside realized that a stranger was in the area. On coming to check what the noise was about, she soon found that stranger and gave a loud bark. This was all the cue Dubai needed to end this newfound friendship at once and follow the path of justice. Following this, Dubai immediately turned against the thief and kept biting and attacking him until he found his way out. Hopefully, he won't be going on another mission anytime soon. Number 25. Pax. A shop robber was most unfortunate when he crossed the path of Pax, a retired prison service dog from Strangeways Prison in Manchester, in an Asian jeweler's in Oldham. So, what was the robber's plan? To come in, get some jewelry, and disappear with no consequences may have been the plan. But that was never going to happen, thanks to Pax. Being a 3-year-old Malinois Belgian Shepherd, Pax has a bite force of 14,000 pounds per square inch, strong enough to crush the bones of any robber who dares to cross its path. At this point, no one wants to be in the robber's shoes in the footage. Number 24. No loot here. In this intriguing footage, we are reminded of the goodness and security that comes with having a dog home. In it, We see a Rottweiler having a fun evening within a quiet compound when he notices the presence of strangers outside. The strangers didn't have good intentions, and it was time for the Rottweiler to declare its territory. The message was well received outside by the strangers who did not bother coming in. Caring for their safety, they didn't require another sign to tell them that the house should be left alone. Number 23. Dog Host. Ponder upon this hilarious scene where we come across an overambitious thief. But this time, things were not going to end well for him. In the footage, the man can be seen breaking into a garage at night, hoping to at least leave with a car or a car part. But he didn't get any of this thanks to the guard dog on duty. The guard dog can be seen charging furiously toward the thief without hesitation. At this point, the man knows to run without stopping no matter what, or else he might end up with scars that would last a lifetime. Of course, he ended up stumbling and getting some scratches from the event, but we're sure he was glad to have survived the incident and maybe never steal again. Number 22. Hand Down. A criminal was desperate enough to pick a target, who happens to be the owner of a canine crime fighter. He was probably there to get richer in goodies, but got richer in wounds. So how did it happen? It turned out that as the robber approached his target, the target's dog, which was nearby, soon caught on to his intention and launched a quick attack. With the fierceness of one with a lot to protect, the dog did not hesitate to take a large and long bite of the robber's hand, ensuring that he never went home the same. At least, we're sure he will always have a painful memory attached to his theft career. Number 21. Dogs Aid Cops. Somewhere in Gansby, Western Cape, a robber was unlucky enough to land in the wrong house on one of his operations and was shocked by his encounters on getting in. Here, he found no less than 2 guard dogs waiting to host him, and while he tried to make a rooftop escape, that didn't end well. Sadly, he fell right into the dog trap, and from what soon unfolded in the footage, we noticed that the dogs were glad to have him. What followed after this was like a tense scene from a blockbuster movie. Despite trying to fight them off with weapons, the dogs grew stronger in attacking the thief, subduing him without relenting until the cops arrived. As it turns out, the dogs proved to have been a vital backup plan to keep the vicinity safe in times of trouble before the arrival of the cops. Here, by the time the cops arrived at the scene, there was nothing left for the thief to do other than to surrender. Number 20. Saved by Heights. Imagine this. You're on a mission, convinced you've nailed every detail. But halfway through, you discover a surprise you never expected and have company. That's exactly what happened to the thief in the footage. He jumped into a compound, ready to steal, only to find a pack of dogs hungry for a taste of him. Caught off guard, he suddenly realized that he hadn't planned for this kind of reception. The dogs were all over him, snapping and snarling, forcing him to think fast. In a burst of adrenaline, the thief scrambled over the roof and found his way out over the fence. It was a narrow escape, and you could almost feel his heart pounding as he made his getaway. Had he been a moment slower, he could have ended up as the dog's next meal. Number 19. The Wrath of a Rottweiler. For some, stealing can be as easy as getting a covering for the face and then feeling safe enough to perpetrate evil. But it surprises most to know how wrong that is. Here, we see a thief with his face covered, trying to commit some robbery in a household. The only problem was a Rottweiler in the compound, which won't have any of it. So what happens next? The combat was fierce between the man and the dog, and it was clear that the dog was winning. While the situation was already hell for the robber involved, things were bound to get worse without some sort of intervention. Thankfully, however, the dog's owner soon intervened, calling the dog to order as he watched the defeated thief lay down flat in absolute surrender, even as he gasped for breath. Number 18. Dog Party. In a strange footage posted online, a suspected burglar is seen stumbling into a party he would rather not attend. This is because the attendees on the list are none other than guard dogs. The thief was sorry for his choices, but it was already too late as the dogs could be seen already feasting over him. In his sorry state, the thief attempted to fight the wild dogs off, but this was unsuccessful. Following this, he decided to take the seemingly easier route by trying to tame them. Still, we guess he wasn't so smart as the endless battle continued. In the end, what was left of him was a defeated man, with the dogs snatching everything he had, including his clothing. Number 17. Little Guardian Angel. If what you're about to see isn't courage, it's hard to tell what is. Here, a burglar is left alone to loot a house with no one at home. However, there remained a small obstacle, which was none other than a small poodle. Here, things were not taken lightly with the robber despite the dog's small size. Intriguingly, after an epic showdown between the dog and the robber, we find the robber running, frightened for his life, before eventually hopping over the fence. The event, without doubt, registers the small dog as one of the bravest, pointing out that it isn't always about the size. Number 16. The Loyal Dog. As we zoom into this next footage, we find a loyal dog stepping up to defend its owner in the face of an adversary. Here, the footage shows a man and his dog sitting in the house doing some work when they noticed an uninvited guest. As it turns out, the house owner was alert and ready to surmount the challenges. Still, he didn't have to lift a finger because the dog was already up to the task. Before both parties could say, "Jack," the dog can be seen already grabbing and attacking the robber, who became launched into confusion, with his only desire being to escape the complex situation he was now in. Number 15. Anti-Robbery Agent. Here, CCTV footage reveals a truly mind-blowing event involving an encounter between a young man and a robber on the street, with no cops in view and nobody to restrain him. The robber can be seen boldly walking towards the innocent man. Thankfully, he was wrong about his calculations on the outcome, because before he could make a move, the robbery victim's defensive dog attacked immediately, scaring the robber away. In the end, it was clear that the dog had not only successfully helped his owner, but had also stopped the robbery, an act that deserves an award for the dog, who is now seen to be an anti-robbery agent. Number 14. A Serious Guard. As we close in on another dog protection scene, we come across a group of dogs who seem to take their guarding duties more seriously than usual. In the footage, a man made the worst mistake of his life by jumping over the fence into a compound he wasn't invited into. On getting in, however, he wished he never did, as he was standing face to face with some of the fiercest guard dogs ever. The good thing, though, is that he knew to retreat from the very spot through which he came from. Number 13. Dog Saved. While most of the stories we've encountered are of dogs saving their owners, this next footage surprisingly takes a different turn. Here, we see a burglar trying to play smart by first taking out the guard dog before doing anything else. Thankfully, the thief soon ran out of luck. When the dog's owner luckily walked into the situation, it had already gotten tense. At this point, the dog's owner was quick to come to his dog's aid and was able to save the day. This showed the strong bond and loyalty between the dog and its owner. Number 12. A Wrong Pick. A CCTV camera records the footage of a woman who seems too bold for her good. She thought it wise to hatch a theft plan in broad daylight, but unknown to her, she was about to be confronted by a group of tiny pit bulls who would make her regret her profession. Despite their small sizes, these little loyal pooches did not hesitate to charge towards the woman, which we count to be unlucky at this point. However, the woman was quick, hearing and sensing the approaching trouble before they came into sight. Thankfully, she succeeded in her life escape this time because she probably knew not to dare the small dogs despite their sizes. Number 11. Doberman. Here, a hilarious young man is captured in CCTV footage attempting to break into a compound he believes is devoid of the owners. Unfortunately for the young man, he wrongly believed he could handle a Doberman, the compound's security dog. Owing to this, he proceeded with his theft plans, unaware of his future and fate. But here's the thing. While on the trip, it didn't take time on the mission for the robbers' plans to crumble. First, it wasn't long before Doberman noticed his presence, which soon led to an epic chase session that was not bound to end. So, to evade the dog and the overall scare, the robber can be seen attempting to hide in a shed away from the dog. That didn't work well for him, as the dog kept trying to get to him. As the chaos unfolded, the matter worsened, and the house owner finally returned. In the end, while nothing was stolen, the thief was definitely getting arrested. Number 10. Guard dogs. You will hardly understand what it means to not dare a house that dogs well guard until you see this. The footage shows a serene compound in broad daylight, running normally until a strange man enters the scene. From the looks of things, he is a thief and should not be there in the first place. However, he walks in and nothing happens. He is seen observing the environment and nothing happens still. That is, until he makes the wrong move by trying to gain access to the household car to steal. It was at this moment that the guard dogs revealed themselves. There were not one or two, but 3 guard dogs, which soon started chasing down the uninvited guest. Of course, he ran off, but he wasn't fast enough, and at this point, he already understood that he was in for a long ride. Number 9. Caramel the Guard. Here's another wild robbery caught on camera, destined to go wrong. In this quiet compound, 2 thieves thought it was a good idea to sneak in and steal clothes off the line. Little did they know, they were entering the domain of a vigilant guard. Caramel, the house dog, was hot on their heels within seconds. One thief managed to grab a pair of pants, but their narrow escape from hospitalization was the real prize. They were lucky to get away with that, and probably owe their safety to sheer luck. Caramel's fierce chase ensured they wouldn't forget this close call anytime soon. Next time, they might think twice before trespassing into guarded territory. Number 8. The Watchdog. In an odd hour of the night, this footage was captured displaying the dangers that lurk in the night. Here, 3 men who are robbers can be seen trying to get into a quiet compound. It is not clear what their plans were, but they were not for good. However, their journey was soon halted by a German Shepherd, who seemed to be glaring at them from below. Known to be a strong, highly protective, and loyal dog, it was clear that the thieves wouldn't easily get off the hook once they were in it. So, they soon took the cue to retreat from the fence to avoid a touching story. While at it, the dog barked a warning, which followed their trail. In the end, no stealing occurred, and no one got hurt. Win-win, if we must say. Number 7. Vigilante. Another heroic act is accorded to our furry friend in an old blurry footage captured in an unknown location. Here, you would think that the dog has been employed as a vigilante, judging what ensued when the dog spotted an intruder climbing into the vicinity. The man was convinced that he was coming in for a good stealing session until he caught sight of the vigilant dog. It was already too late because the chase had already begun. Judging from how the four-legged vigilantes sprinted like they had a bone to catch, it was also clear who would outrun who. Number 6. Parking lot. Two strange men are spotted sneaking in without care in a lonely parking lot. No one could read their minds to know their intentions, but as it turns out, the dog here did not think they were there for any good. The result of this was a fierce attack from the animal known to be highly sensitive to evil. The men involved soon scattered in different directions in confusion. Interestingly enough, we see one of the men trying to defend himself with skillful kicks to drive the dog away. We can only wonder how far he'd go with this defense tactic. Number 5. Motorcycle theft fail. Let's dive into the next footage. Here we find a robber sneaking up to a house, aiming to steal a motorcycle. Easy job, right? Not quite, because Caramel, the watchful dog, is on duty. And Caramel isn't the type to sit back and let someone swipe a bike from his turf. So, what happens? As the thief tries to make his getaway, Caramel launches into a full sprint after him. The terrified robber, now scared out of his wits, frantically pedals away, but Caramel is hot on his heels. It's a hilarious and nerve-wracking chase that ends in a bad situation for the thief. You can bet he'll think twice before trying that again. Number 4. Small pit bulls. The next scene is another example of true heroism regarding our loyal dogs trying to protect their owners and all that belongs to them. Here, we see a robber faced with two tiny pit bulls trying to advance further in his theft mission. However, he was shocked by what soon happened. He didn't expect that the tiny pit bulls would be able to do much for their owners based on their sizes, but these animals soon surprised everyone. The battle was fierce, and the dogs would not let go even in the wildest dreams of the robber. Ultimately, this marked a day when loyalty seemed to defy all forms of reasoning. Number 3. A gang fail. This next footage records a humorous scene that left everyone laughing their guts out. In the footage, a gang of thieves can be seen hatching a plan to steal a bike parked by the street. But the plans soon changed drastically when they stumbled upon a superhero dog. The dog wasn't going to let the gang's plan go smoothly. So, with lots of barking and pursuits, chaos was soon unleashed on the street. Although most of the gang members managed to get away from the dog in a hilarious turn of events, an unlucky team member was left behind to face an unknown fate. Regardless of whatever happens to the thief following the chase, the dog certainly can't be blamed for being a superhero. Number 2. Mr. Invisible. In the dead of night, a CCTV camera captures something hilarious. A thief sneaks up to a house, trying to quietly steal a motorcycle parked in the corner while the owners are asleep. But the homeowners aren't unprotected. As the thief thinks he's in the clear, a pack of dogs rushes out, barking furiously. Realizing he's in trouble, the thief runs, narrowly escaping with his skin intact. He'd have been covered in bite marks if he had hesitated even a moment longer. Number 1. No boundaries. A thief was bold enough to barge into a compound, looking all prepared and ready to surmount all challenges he would face. But the large dog he found waiting for him had a different plan. The dog was relentless, chasing the living daylight out of the thief who dared to trespass. But surprisingly, it wasn't over even when the robber left the compound, because the dog saw no boundaries to its chase. It even climbed over the fence to ensure the thief got justice for his crimes. What do you think about these dog defense stories? Do you know of other dog superhero moments? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Also, Click the following video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.